Hello friends, in a subject of applied thermodynamics, today we are going to see fuel air cycle. In previous video we saw how air standard cycle works, air standard cycle for auto and as well as diesel. So there are number of assumptions we made due to which that cycle or that concept, air standard concept, become oversimplified. And due to that oversimplify, uh, their result or their actual outcomes are deviate from the actual cycle. So second concept, that is fuel air cycle. In fuel air cycle, we still assume some assumptions and taking as it is from a air standard cycle, but here there are some changes as compared to air standard cycle. So let's start today's video. So what is a fuel air cycle? So basically in a fuel air cycle, we know that in air standard cycle there is only one working fluid, that is a air. Okay, and that air entrap in the cylinder and it is remain as it is without any chemical changes, without any mass change or anything. So it is deviate from the actual engine, because actual engine having a fuel air composition. Even though when we start accelerating it, then we have to supply more fuel to obtain a more power. So it deviates from the actual engine or engine cycles. So next cycle is that fuel air cycle. Here we are using fuel and air mixture as a working fluid. So as it is said, fuel air cycle. So the actual composition of the cylinder gases are considered, because actual engine having fuel and air mixture. Okay. Now the cylinder gases contain fuel air, but not only the fuel air. Why? Because with air there is some water vapors parts, as well as in residual gases. As we saw in a schematic of four-stroke engine, when piston reach to TDC, it can't move ahead. So whatever be the gap between cylinder head and piston head, that gap, or that is called the clearance volume. So clearance volume, whatever be the residual exhaust gases remains, it will dilute your incoming charge. So during suction, whatever be the fresh charge we suck inside the cylinder, that fresh charge also having a content of clearance volume remaining residual gases. So that is the whole composition. Fresh charge means fuel vapors, air, water vapors, then residual gases. So all these are the actual cylinder working fluid. The fuel air ratio changes during the operation of the engine, because at idling we are supplying fuel air ratio at a different ratio. Then for economy zone, when we are driving our vehicle, so fuel air ratio is different. When we accelerate our vehicle to have a higher speed or for larger power, then also fuel air ratio gets changed. So that fuel air ratio change and its impact is considered in fuel air cycle. Next point is the variation in specific heat with a temperature. This is also one assumptions we made in air standard cycle, that specific heat remain constant throughout the cycle. That is the assumption in air standard cycle. Specific heat is what? It is a, if we are generally speaking, so specific heat is heat storing capacity of that fluid. Okay, so heat storing capacity of fluid on pressure, constant pressure, so we said Cp, and on constant volume, so we said it is Cv. So these specific heat capacities, specific heat Cp or Cv, we assume remain constant throughout the cycle. That is the assumptions made in air standard cycle. But in fuel air cycle or in actual case, Cp and Cv never remain constant. As we are adding heat to the system, then that system fluid, Cp and Cv get changed. It varies. And we know that what is the gamma. So gamma is a ratio of this Cp of Cv. So ratio of specific heat is a gamma. So in fuel air cycle, we are taking the case that variation is there in Cp and Cv according to the temperature. During compression, when we compress air fuel mixture, so as the compression takes place, its volume reduces, its pressure increases and temperature increases. So during compression, as the temperature increases, there is increase in Cp and Cv. This is assumed in fuel air cycle, but in air standard cycle, we assume throughout the cycle it remains constant. So if Cp and Cv changes, definitely that gamma will change, the value of gamma will change. But only monoatomic gases are the gases which are exception to this. So specific heat increases with temperature, but this is not true for monoatomic gases. So in monoatomic gases, if temperature increases, it is not going to increase the Cp and Cv. But other than monoatomic gases, all gases, there will be increase in specific heat with temperature. So in our case, fuel air mixture also, there will be a changes in specific heat as per the temperatures. And the last one, which we consider in fuel air cycle, that is a variation in number of molecules. In air standard cycle, we assume that the total mass of air remain as it is, unchanged. So from outside, we are not taking any additional mass of air. And even though during exhaust, that is heat rejection, we are not escaping our mass, that air mass. So mass remain inside as it is. But in here, fuel air cycle, fuel and air mixture, we are supplied to cylinder. Then it get burned from exhaust gases, and that exhaust gases we have to remove out from the cylinder. That means fresh air fuel mixture enter into the system from surrounding outside to system, that is our piston cylinder arrangement, and then exhaust gases moving out from the system. That means exhaust gases we have to remove out from cylinder. So there is change in number of molecules, and number of molecules present after combustion depend upon fuel air ratio and upon the pressure and temperature conditions during combustion. So these three considerations we consider in fuel air cycle as compared to air standard cycle. Now some other assumptions are there with the fuel air cycle. In this, some assumptions are as it is, we saw in a air standard cycle, we are just carry forward in a fuel air cycle also to make it simplified. So first assumption is there is no chemical changes in either fuel or air prior to combustion. That means when carburetor making a mixture of fuel air, that is a petrol and air mixture. So during mixing, there is no any chemical changes. Okay, there is a physical changes, no doubt. Your liquid fuel get vaporized, so it convert into gaseous form. Then that vapor fuel get mixed with air and having a homogeneous mixture of fuel vapor and air. But it is assumed that before any combustion start, there is no chemical changes. But in actual, some kind of chemical changes take place before combustion. Next, subsequent to combustion, the change is always in chemical equilibrium. So whenever there is a changes due to combustion, all the changes are in chemically equilibrium. And you know that what is a chemical equilibrium. So in a first year in chemistry, you balance the chemical equations, correct? So combustion processes at any stage, it is assumed that at any stage changes are always in chemical equilibrium. So this is second assumptions. Next assumption is there is no heat exchange between gases and the cylinder wall in the process. That means still compression and expansion process are assumed as a adiabatic process. Whatever be the heat generated during burning of fuel and air inside the cylinder, we are assuming that that heat is not supplied to wall. So wall remain as it is. Wall is not getting to heat up. If wall get heated, that means some heat of our burning gases supplied to cylinder wall, and that heat will count as a loss because it is lost to heat up the cylinder wall. So here we assume that in fuel air cycle that our compression and expansion process are adiabatic. That means wall does not receive any kind of heat from that burning gases. Next assumption is there is a frictionless compression and expansion. If there is a friction during piston movement, so that piston movement friction, to overcome that friction, we have to lose some power. That means we have to use some power, and that power loss due to friction. So it will be ultimately reducing your output. So it is assumed that piston and cylinder don't have any friction. So it is a frictionless compression and expansion. Next, fluid motion inside the cylinder is ignored. Actual, when during suction there is incoming of fresh air fuel mixture. So during incoming inside the cylinder, there is some motion. During compression, there is some motion. During expansion, there is a motion of our burning gases. But here we assume that there is fluid motion inside the cylinder is neglected. That means we assume it is zero. There is no fluid motion. It is assumed that fuel is completely vaporized and perfectly mixed with air. This is also assumption because it is not possible. We can say 100% fuel, whatever be the fuel mixture is formed, 100% fuel get vaporized. Some parts, some traces will be left as a liquid form. Many times when vapors enter into the cylinder, due to cold condition of cylinder, that vapor get condensed on cylinder wall. So such kind of phenomena is not there. It is assumed. It is assumed that complete mixture of fuel and air is a homogeneous and all the fuel content is in vapor form. And the last assumption, it is also assumed that the burning takes place instantaneously at TDC. So when we said burn the gases, so when spark is produced in SI engine, so it is also assumed in fuel air cycle that when spark produced at that particular instant, we assume whole charge get burned. So that is the assumptions, because whatever be the fuel air mixture is there, it takes some time to get burned, because after spark produced, it will catch the flame. That flame will travel throughout your mixture, and when it travels, then it will burn the gases continuously. And after complete burning, we observe there is a tremendous pressure, and due to which piston movement is there. But here we are assuming that burning, complete burning process completed at instantaneously at TDC. That means volume is same. In actual cycle, remember, piston never stop at TDC or BDC. It is continuously moving. So there is a single point when it reach to TDC and again move down. Again single point fraction of time when it reach to BDC and again move. So it is never happen that piston moving upward reach to TDC and it will stop there. till the burning process completed. Then it will move down towards BDC and stop there. So it is never that it having any process at constant volume. It is continuously moving, but it is assumed that. So this is the last assumption made in fuel air cycle. Now, what are the different variables now? If we are considering fuel air cycle, so what are the different variables which are affecting operation of this cycle? So first is compression ratio. So here we are plotting a compression ratio variation. So x-axis having a compression ratio 4, 6, 8, 10, and y-axis thermal ratio. Now what is the compression ratio? So imagine we have a piston, and when during piston suction stroke, piston moving downward towards BDC. So when it reached to BDC, whole cylinder filled with fresh air fuel mixture. Now when compression take place, so it is compressing, and this compression ends when piston reach to TDC. So whatever be the total volume or charge get compressed when piston reach to TDC, so that small clearance volume where whole the charge get compressed, so total volume divided by that clearance volume is a compression ratio. Now imagine if I compress whole charge to certain level, it increases its pressure and temperature. If I compressing it to higher level, then its pressure and temperature will increase more. If I compressing to again in a small volume, then its temperature and pressure will increase tremendously. And when at the end of compression, whatever be the charge having pressure and temperature, when it get burned, so larger power will be developed. So when I increase the compression ratio, so definitely I will get higher power. So for each and every curve, we observe that increase in compression ratio, thermal efficiency is increases. So increasing trend is there. These all lines are percentage of theoretical fuel air cycle, fuel air mixture. So air standard cycle always give highest because we assume many things. So it become oversimplified. So it gives always highest efficiency. After that, percentage of theoretical fuel air, suppose it is 90%, so it is lesser than air standard. If it 100, so it is again lesser, 120, 140. So likewise, it is decreasing. But with compression ratio, we observe that there is always increase in thermal efficiency. The fuel air cycle efficiency increases with the compression ratio in the same manner as the air standard cycle efficiency. Because of increase in compression ratio increases more scope of expansion work. What is mean of this more scope of expansion work? So if I compressing my whole charge to very small clearance volume, so whole charge reach to very high pressure and high temperature. When it burn, so it having a larger power, and due to that large power, whatever be the expansion take place, that expansion work will be more. So compression ratio increases, your output power or expansion work is increases. This is the first factor which is affecting operation of fuel air cycle. Second factor, variation of air fuel mixture strength. As I said, during operation, we supplying air fuel mixture at a different mixture strength. In generally, we know that when we said diluted mixture, that means it having a very less density, correct? And if we said concentrated mixture, so concentrated air fuel mixture having a very high density of power. So here we are not technically saying a diluted air fuel mixture or concentrated air fuel mixture. We are saying technically it is a lean mixture. What is the lean mixture? So lean mixture is that where air quantity, air part is higher, then it become a diluted kind of mixture. So that diluted kind of mixture is known as a lean mixture. And when air quantity is lesser, that means our mixture become concentrated. So that is called a rich mixture. And a psychometric mixture or chemically correct mixture, this is a mixture which is as per chemical balancing, we require the exact amount of air. So as per the chemical formula and chemical equation balance, we come to know how much amount of air is required to burn this fuel particularly. So that is called psychometric ratio. But in actual condition, we never maintain psychometric ratio because it is not possible. Okay, so we always supplying our mixture either lean or rich. Rich mixture means where fuel is higher, lean mixture means where fuel is lesser, but we never control that at a psychometry level. Okay, now here equivalence ratio. Now what is the equivalence ratio? So psychometric ratio is the chemically when we balance our all combustion equation, then we come to know how much air is required for that burning of complete fuel. So that is called psychometric ratio. And actual air fuel ratio is the when we supplied, when we run our engine, so we get some air fuel mixture ratio. So equivalence ratio is defined as the ratio of actual fuel air ratio divided by chemically or psychometric correct air fuel ratio. That is called the equivalence ratio. So this is equivalence ratio on x-axis and thermal indicated thermal efficiency on y-axis. Now here what we observe, for any compression ratio, if we are moving to lean side, that means when fuel quantity is lesser and air quantity is higher. So when we move towards the lean side, we observe that efficiency is increasing. And if we are moving towards a rich side, so we observe efficiency is decreases for all compression ratio. If it is 22, if it is 16, 12, 8, 6. So for all compression ratio, same trend. If we are going to lean side, the efficiency increases. If we are going to rich side, efficiency decreases. As the mixture is made lean, that means air quantity is higher. That is in general we said diluted. So as the mixture is made lean, the temperature rise due to combustion will be lower. Obvious, because in lean mixture there is a quantity of fuel is lesser. So when that lean mixture burn where fuel quantity is lesser, so overall heat generated is lesser, and due to that maximum temperature range will be dropped because fuel is less. So burning or combustion having a lesser intensity to rise the temperature. So overall lower temperature. And if temperature inside the cylinder is lower, so it will reduce energy input per unit mass of mixture. So intensity of energy will be reduced because less fuel, less burning, less heat release, less temperature, so less amount of energy. So definitely energy will reduce by burning of lean fuel. Now if energy is less, that means temperature is less, so what happens? This will lower the specific heat. As I said in previous, when temperature increases, specific heat increases. If temperature reduces, so specific heat will reduce. So if I provide a lean mixture, so it will reduce specific heat, either Cp or Cv. So that specific heat reduces with increasing, with decreasing in temperature. And why temperature decreases? Because we are supplying lean mixture where fuel quantity is less, so less amount of heat produced, so less temperature. So lower specific heat, and it will lower the losses due to dissociation and variation in specific heat. So lower specific heat, so lower variation, losses due to specific heat. Lower temperature, so lower dissociation. Association means combining fuel carbon and from air oxygen. When carbon and oxygen combine, it forms CO2, correct? So that is association, burning process. And dissociation means splitting out. So CO2 will dissociate in carbon and oxygen, but it is not possible to get a carbon content. So CO2 will dissociate in CO, carbon monoxide, and oxygen. So that is called dissociation. The efficiency is therefore higher because loss is lesser, less amount of heat inside the cylinder, so less loss will be there. If losses are lesser, then efficiency will increase. So that during lean mixture we found increasing in efficiency, but with a rich mixture we found decrease in efficiency. We are talking about a indicated thermal efficiency. That is the efficiency on the basis of power developed inside the cylinder. Now variation in specific heat. Cp and Cv. All gases, as I said, except monoatomic gases, all gases shows increase in specific heat with temperature. If temperature increases, then specific heat will increases. Now there are two cycles, 1, then 2, 3, and 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. This cycle is a ideal cycle. And during this, suppose this is the compression from 1 to 2. So from this volume V1 to this volume V2, suppose there is a compression process. So due to compression, heat will increases as we are compressing that charge. So due to compression, volume reduces, pressure increases, and temperature increases. Okay. Now how we calculated heat? So Q is equal to mCp delta T. What is delta T in this case? So starting of compression temperature is T1. After compression temperature will be T2. So T2 will be higher after compression. So delta T will be T2 minus T1. Now for the same heat, because we are compressing from V1 to V2, so heat of compression will be same. But when we are talking about the relation between Cp and delta T, mass is same, constant. Heat, we are assuming that heat is same. So if heat and mass is same, then what is the relation between Cp and delta T? So I am shifting this delta T on the second side. So we observe that specific heat is inversely proportional to delta T. So what it means delta T? Delta T is T2 minus T1. Intake temperature is T1. It is not going to change. After compression, T2 will change. So if Cp is increases, so delta T will decrease. Now delta T is decreased, that means T2 value is decreases, because supplying or before compression temperature will be same. After compression T2 decreases, so overall delta T decreases. So if Cp increases, delta T is decreases. Compression, change in temperature due to compression, that is decreases. Now here we are saying with increase in temperature, there is increase in specific heat. So if temperature increases, combustion temperature increases, Cp will increases, and if Cp increases, delta T will decreases. So figure shows Otto cycle obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is an ideal Otto cycle. So 1, 2, this 3 and 4 is an ideal Otto cycle where we are assuming Cp remain constant throughout the process. But fuel air cycle, the cycle represented by 1, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash and 1. Why? Because during compression, temperature continuously increases. If temperature increases, Cp will increase. If Cp increases, overall delta T will decrease. Overall delta T decrease, that means actually T2 value decreases. T2 value decreases, so corresponding temperature remains lower. So whatever be the ideal cycle we obtaining 2 point after compression, but due to change in specific heat, our 2 point is lower than ideal. So we get a 2 point as a 2 dash, and that 2 dash, this one is lower than 2. When heat addition take place, so obviously 3 dash will be lower than 3. When during expansion, again specific heat changes, due to we get this 4 dash. Now what happened overall? If I am checking 1, 2, 3, 4 ideal cycle, so this whole area will be my work output. And if I am considering specific heat changes, then my cycle will be 1, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash, 1. So this is showing lesser work done. So the difference of ideal work done, which is obviously higher, and the actual work done, because our whole cycle reduces, so work done reduces. So due to this, whatever be the amount of difference of work, that is called work loss. We receive lesser work output due to change in specific heat. So, and that is called loss of work. And this loss of work is because of variation in specific heat. Next, variation in number of moles. So number of mole present before and after combustion would be different in case of fuel air cycle. In air standard cycle, there is not a question of change in number of moles, because whatever be the air entrap in the cylinder, that air remain as it is. So number of mole remain always same. But here fuel air cycle, due to different condition, we are supplying different fuel air mixture, so number of moles are different. Secondly, during combustion, before combustion, fuel air or whatever be the charge having different number of moles. After combustion, number of moles gets changed. So suppose before combustion, fuel having a 1 carbon and air having a 1 oxygen. So number of moles are 2, 1 carbon mole and 1 oxygen mole. So before combustion, there are total 2 moles before combustion. After combustion, what happened? It becomes CO2. So 1 carbon, 1 oxygen converted after combustion in a 1 mole of CO2. So after combustion, it is 1. So before combustion, there are 2 number of moles. After combustion, it is only 1 mole. So number of moles get changed. For hydrogen, 2 hydrogens, 2 H2 plus 1 oxygen. So 2 mole of hydrogen, 1 mole of oxygen. So number of moles are 3. After combustion, it becomes 2 H2O. That means 2 moles. So again, Before combustion there are 3, after combustion 2. So number of moles get changed. So what happened? The pressure of the gases is proportional to number of moles. So whatever be the gas pressures is there, it is proportional to number of moles. So if number of moles are higher, pressure will be higher for the same temperature, okay, and same volume. So if I am considering same temperature and same volume, so number of mole increases, pressure will increase. Number of mole reduces, pressure will reduce. And here we observe before combustion number of moles are higher. So before combustion pressure is higher, after combustion number of moles are lesser. So pressure will be lesser. Therefore, the actual pressure in the combustion chamber will be different compared to theoretical cycle due to variation in number of moles caused by combustion of fuel. So due to burning, we obtain after combustion different number of moles. So whatever be the theoretical ideal cycle, so here we obtain lesser pressure, so lesser work output. Now the variation, last point, variation of dissociation. So as I said, association means burning. Carbon and oxygen chemically form CO2, that is a burning process, association. And during burning, we obtain heat energy. So whenever we burn anything, we obtain a heat. So that is a association process. Dissociation is the reverse of association. So let's see. So degree of richness, that means a rich mixture, then second side a lean mixture, and this center, this is a psychometric mixture where we said chemically correct amount of air fuel, and this is the temperatures. Now what happened in a dissociation? Dissociation is the process which is considered as a disintegration of combustion of product. When it is take place at a certain high temperature, association at normal temperature, when it burns, so it will associate and form a combustion product. Just like a association of hydrogen and oxygen, it becomes H2O vapors, water vapors. Association of carbon and oxygen, it becomes CO2. So these are the association, and during association or during burning process, heat is released and that heat is utilized to produce a power. But in dissociation, heat is absorbed. So dissociation can also look as a reverse of process of combustion. So during combustion, heat is released, and as dissociation is a reverse process of combustion, so in dissociation process, heat is absorbed. So during this dissociation, heat is absorbed, whereas during combustion, heat is liberated. Now, what is the dissociation of CO2? So CO2 dissociation will start at about 1000 degrees centigrade. Imagine when we burn a fuel in cylinder, so carbon and oxygen associated, heat is released, and inside the combustion chamber, heat is released, so that heat is utilized to obtain a work output. Now imagine inside the combustion chamber, if temperature rises above 1000, so whatever be the CO2 form after 1000, that CO2 start to dissociate. So this single CO2 will dissociate into 2 carbon monoxide and oxygen. And this dissociation process will absorb heat. So if combustion chamber is there and dissociation take place, so heat will absorb from the heat of combustion. So total overall heat inside the cylinder will reduce. So if heat is reduced, so our output will reduce. So if there is a dissociation, our overall engine output is reduces, because during dissociation heat get absorbed. In the same manner, H2O. During burning, H2 and oxygen get associate and form a water vapors. During dissociation, H2O will dissociate into H2 and oxygen, and this H2O when dissociate into H2 and oxygen, again it will absorb heat, and this H2O dissociation will started about 1300 degrees centigrade. So this no dissociation maximum temperature is attained at psychometric air fuel ratio. So if we observe this chart, black line showing without dissociation, so we observe that this is the highest level of temperature when there is no dissociation. But when dissociation take place, so it will absorb heat from the combustion product. So we observe that there is a lesser value of higher temperature when dissociation take place. So this is a blue curve showing dissociation process. So it is not admissible that there should be any dissociation. If there is a dissociation, overall work output will reduce.